I'm Stephen Gill from Canada. Easter is the second special day for Christians. The first special day for Christians is Christmas. And Christmas is the day when Christ was born. It is the belief of most Christians that Christ was God in flesh. In other words, God Himself came down to earth in the form of Christ to show that love is not just in theory. In other words, God incarnated Himself to demonstrate that it is possible to practice unconditional love also as a human. To demonstrate that His love is possible also in action, as God is deathless. His love, His unconditional love, is also deathless. Human form of Christ was crucified. Human form of Christ was buried, but His divine form remained deathless. Christ came back to life on the third day, and this third day is Easter, and Easter is celebrated with joy by the believers of Christ. This day of Christ's resurrection, have been prophesied by prophets after prophets, as His birth has been prophesied right from the day Adam and Eve broke the divine law. These days, as well as the life and teachings of Christ, have been prophesied and documented in the Old Testament of the Bible. God Himself said that He will come down to earth when Adam and Eve broke the commandments of the Creator, means God. Life and teachings of Christ have been documented in the Old Testament, particularly by His 4 disciples. Christ had 12 disciples. One of them came to India. His name was Thomas. And 4 disciples, Matthew, another is Mark, another disciple is Luke, and John. They wrote 4 Gospels, 4 books. As I said, Christ had 12 disciples. And even the one who came to India and didn't write any gospel preached the same things, same teachings that these 4 gospel writers say. The writers of these 4 gospels are the eyewitnesses of what Christ, we call Christ or Jesus, And what Christ said and did is in these four Gospels. Christ said several times, not one, not two times. He said several times that he will rise the third day. And then he will go back to heaven. And he also said that he will come back to judge. This is exactly what has happened, and Christians are now waiting for Christ's second coming as a judge. Even now, in India, and also in most democracies of the world, judges give their verdicts based on the eyewitnesses. There are cross-examinations in court, and these cross-examinations, discussions, are just to find truth. Based on those witnesses and cross-examinations, judges give their verdicts. Normally, two witnesses are enough, but in the case of Christ, relating to his birth, relating to his works, relating to his resurrection, there are several proofs to document the facts. The resurrection of Christ remind me the resurrection of India from the dark forces of COVID-19. Christ has clearly pointed out to obey the laws of the government. Usually, democracies make laws in the interest of their citizens. God is love, and God is the source of health. God is the source of peace. God is the source of prosperity. It is absolutely wrong. I would say it is absolutely against the nature and teachings of God if any faith does not believe in the government's laws, which are to keep the citizens healthy by asking them to practice physical distance, by asking them to avoid crowds, and to practice other peaceful means. They are all in their interest. I am sure that India will be born as a more wise. I am sure that India will be born as a more prosperous nation after the dark days of COVID-19 are over. When I think of the prosperity of India, I think of the unity of India. And when I think of the unity of India, I think of the equality of all the citizens before the law. And when I think of the equality before law, I think of the laws relating to marriage. I think of the laws relating to divorce and birth control and so on and so forth. India should abolish Christian laws should abolish Hindu laws, should abolish Muslim laws which have been dividing India. Religion is a personal matter. State is not supposed to interfere in the personal matters of an individual. State should have one law about divorce, birth control, marriages. My friend, I take this opportunity to wish my friends, to all of you, a most happy Easter and pray for long and prosperous future for all of you. Thank you.